Hello Rossoneri, this is AC Milan Talk. We are ready for a new weekly episode with the goings-on of our favorite team, both on and off the pitch. I'm not alone today as always, because here with me there is Sheridan Bird and Adriano Del Monte.
Hello,
welcome,
everybody.
guys.
Nice to see you, Alicia. Nice to see you,
Good
Adriano.
to see you both. Very excited to be back.
Yeah, let me say that I'm so happy to meet you again here.
Pleasure is all ours.
It's a mutual feeling.
Sheridan, it's my favourite time of the week when we get to come together, talk Milan, and of course it's been a big week and plenty more to come.
How's your big week been? What an interesting week been.
It's been a good one, absolutely. Yeah, it's
progress.
been lots of exciting things occurring, lots to talk about, an episode packed full of things to discuss. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck in.
We have a lot to talk about, so let's start from our men's first team. Let's have a look at the updated table for the UEFA Champions League for our AC Milan. Let me say that if I were a football player, I wouldn't be able to manage all this fixture, but luckily I'm not a football player, and luckily our Rossoneri are more than capable to do this. Yesterday night, let's focus on it, because it was not an easy match. I think that is well reflected on the final result, how our Rossoneri did appear on the pitch.
A lot to take away from this. It's been an interesting start, this group of death, Sheridan. We discussed it in depth from the start, but of course a 0-0 away to Dortmund. How do you look at it? If you look at this match in isolation, I think a point and a clean sheet at Dortmund in an atmosphere like that, I think you take that. I think it was a positive performance. Obviously, some areas still to improve. There weren't many chances, and I think this will be where I guess the reflection on the match will come. Perhaps a bit of disappointment that some of those chances weren't taken there. Giroud with the golden opportunity just before the half-time break to take the lead. Of course, an atmosphere that's always difficult to play in Dortmund with really strong European pedigree, but much like match day one, Sheridan, a lot of chances, good to get the clean sheet, but in the end just lacking that final touch.
Yeah, I think you have to operate with the glass half full. I think that's what Milan do. I think it's to be successful, you have to be optimistic, and it was a 0-0 draw. It was a clean sheet. The Rossoneri made plenty of chances, unable to put any of them in the net, obviously, but there is still a lot of positivity. Undefeated in terms of Europe, haven't conceded a goal yet. Just need to find a bit more accuracy in front of goal, but to go to a stadium like Borussia Dortmund's famous ground and to leave unscathed, it's not easy. So there is a bit of disappointment at the lack of goals, but the performance was good, and the goals will come. And the important thing is to stay tight in the defensive part of the pitch as well.
And take nothing away from Dortmund. Again, we mentioned the fact, obviously they've lost some key players in recent seasons, but still a team with really strong pedigree in the Champions League. It's a team that are unbeaten at home for 23 matches. That they're very strong. They'll be tough to beat, as will every team. Every team will be very tough to beat at home in this group of death. And obviously some big fixtures to come, of course. We'll get to match day 3 in a few weeks' time, but that trip to the Parc des Princes, I will be there, Sheridan. I'm very excited for this one, but that is going to be as big as any match. And obviously it's going to be a double header with PSG, who are coming off the back of, to some, a shock 4-1 loss at Newcastle. So all of a sudden this group is very open, but certainly those results at home are going to be where Milan need to get the points. And it's a thrilling group. We love playing against the very best in European football, but I take positivity. 2 points, 2 clean sheets, opening 2 days of the Champions League, and hopefully many more points to come.
On Wednesday night was not an easy fixture playing there in front of the famous yellow wall, even if our AC Milan fans make themselves heard at Genoa Park.
Did you see the scenes in the lead-up in the streets? The Milan fans were there making their presence felt. It is one of the loudest atmospheres in European football, that yellow wall. The Dortmund fans, they are so passionate. In fact, German football across the board, very, very passionate. But the Milan travelling support always playing their role and certainly willed the players on the nights. And as always, they make San Siro night special, but to go away from home, to go to an atmosphere there and really make themselves felt, it's a special experience.
And to do so in Germany is not easy. As you said, German football is known for its passion. I remember last season when the Milan fans were in London for the match against Chelsea. Lots of my friends who live in London and who follow Chelsea were really impressed by just the passion and the heat of the Milan fans. And wherever the team go, they know that they're guaranteed incredible support from the Rossoneri faithful.
I would like to hear what do you think about Stefano Pioli post-match reaction, but first of all, let's hear his words together.
Essere delusi da un pareggio su un campo così difficile significa che stiamo alzando il livello, ma credo che sia anche giusto essere delusi, perché purtroppo 2 pareggi dopo 2 partite così sono troppo poche e il girone è complicato, è difficile, ma ci possono essere sorprese in ogni singola partita, quindi dobbiamo essere molto bravi a mantenere molto equilibrio, saper valutare bene la prestazione. Nel primo tempo non abbiamo giocato una partita a livello tecnico eccellente, nel secondo tempo l'abbiamo migliorata, ma abbiamo giocato con spirito, abbiamo giocato con intensità, abbiamo provato a rispondere pallone su pallone, giocata su giocata, quindi dobbiamo assolutamente andare avanti così, cercando, chiaramente è un peccato aver giocato 2 partite così in Champions e non essere riusciti a segnare almeno un gol, quindi quello adesso deve essere il nostro focus, deve essere il nostro obiettivo, ma mantenendo alto il livello di prestazione, perché il girone è veramente competitivo, ma lo sapevamo.
A lot of optimism and energy, don't you agree?
Agreed. And I think right at the start of his post-match reaction there, it was exactly what I was alluding to earlier. Feel the disappointment because there were 3 points up for grabs, but that shows that this team are now upping their level, and the fact that you go away from home to Dortmund and are disappointed with a point there, again, given the pedigree of the opponent, shows that this team are growing in the right direction. But now, match day 3, match day 4, the doubleheader against Paris Saint-Germain, the goals need to come, and Mr. Pioli is aware of that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we know that for many years Milan were out of the Champions League, which was a strange feeling because it's the club's natural habitat. But to now say that the team are disappointed with a goalless draw at an intimidating arena like Borussia Dortmund does show how much the team have grown, how much this young squad already have grown. Mr. Pioli, they're getting rather upset by something, but I think he can take pride from the fact that to come away from Dortmund with a 0-0 draw is something of a disappointment. It just shows development, and the goals will come because the firepower is there, particularly with some of the new summer signings. We're faithful that the goals will arrive.
Stefano Pioli left Dortmund with 1 more point, but in the post-match on Wednesday night, also our captain Davide Calabria and Malik Ciao had something to say to Milan TV cameras. Let's check out their words.
Sicuramente speravamo e volevamo portare a casa una vittoria, sapevamo benissimo che non era un campo assolutamente facile, credo che siano più o meno 2 anni che loro non perdono in casa, uno stadio davvero caldo. Abbiamo fatto troppi errori secondo me di impostazione di gioco, di costruzione, sul recupero palla, di essere un po' più puliti nel recuperare poi la nostra fase di gioco, anche se poi alla fine abbiamo creato qualche occasione in cui dovevamo assolutamente essere più cinici, soprattutto in queste partite sappiamo che non te ne capitano tante come non sono capitate tante a loro, quindi mi piace sempre vedere il bicchiere mezzo pieno sinceramente, ma siamo arrivati a un livello probabilmente che anche un pareggio in questo stadio ci sta anche un po' stretto, però non possiamo stare qui a piangerci addosso, lavoreremo per migliorare anche gli errori che abbiamo commesso e poi valuteremo in questi giorni come abbiamo giocato.
Yes, it was not an easy game, especially the first half was not so easy. We did a lot of technical mistakes. If you look the whole match, I think we should have won the game. So it's a bit tough right now because we wanted more, and also if you look at especially the second half, we could have done more. Yes.
The team is aware of their own European potential. It's a good thing.
Very good thing. Very, very good thing. Again, those words coming out, again, as their coach, showing the disappointment, but believing that they did deserve more. I think it's a sign of maturity. And on Malik Chow, We're big fans of Sheridan. He and Tomori, again, very strong defensively. And again, let's not underestimate the value of that clean sheet. To go there, get that clean sheet, 2 from 2. Yes, the goals haven't come in an attacking sense, but we know on European nights, defensive stability, a clean sheet, as important as anything.
Yeah, it's crucial, and you're right to pick up on Malik Chow, because not so long ago he wasn't a particularly familiar face to many of the Milan fans. Those within the club knew his quality, but since coming in, it's around January where he kind of started to become a first-team regular. He's really done impressively. He dovetails wonderfully with Fikayo Tomori, and the two of them together are a very difficult barrier to breach. Dortmund didn't do it, Newcastle couldn't do it, and that's Newcastle who put 4 past Paris Saint-Germain the same evening. So the defensive solidity is something to celebrate.
And of course, for Charles, they're going back to Germany as well and playing. He would have had some extra motivation to do very well. So credit to he and the back 4 for the clean sheet. I think the group now, Lecce, is set up in a very interesting manner. Of course, PSG will come into the next match needing to respond after conceding 4. And obviously, Mr. Pioli's made it very clear Milan need to come out, get some goals, score, and pick up more points.
Yeah, of course. And then we will be back in Champions League at the end of October with the next match at Paris, against Paris Saint-Germain. Now, our Rossoneri are back to the Serie A after the winning match against Lazio last Saturday evening. Did you were at San Siro in that evening?
I was not at the San Siro for the Lazio match, but I watched it very closely, and it was a really good performance. We spoke before the game about Maurizio Sarri's side being a very competitive outfit, and it was a very business-like, professional performance by Milan against Lazio. It wasn't by any means easy to get all the points against the team from the capital, but it was a really good performance, and just highly professional. Here's the action, Adriano.
It was one where the fans played their part again, because the goals, they came eventually. Of course, Pulisic there with a goal, and it was very important because it was a first hour where the team were in control. But again, the goal did come. Adli with a very solid performance there. Pulisic with another goal. I think it's his 3rd thus far in the campaign. So you just felt at San Siro that passion and that growth in a match which was a must-win against the Lazio team, who of course are aspiring for Champions League football next season as well. Leao there with another assist, another top performance. Okafor with the goal. So look, in the end it was the perfect preparation, the perfect result in the lead up to a Champions League week. Of course, Lazio were in action in the Champions League as well, so both teams with a lot of football to come. And look, simply Milan's record against Lazio has been very strong, particularly at San Siro in recent seasons. But these are matches, Licha, when we talk top 4 and a return to next season's Champions League, these are matches that simply must be won, and well done to the team for doing exactly that.
Yeah, the team is providing its coach and AC Milan fans, but I ask you if you were in San Siro on a Saturday night, because there was an incredible sunset which went viral on social media. Yeah,
Beautiful.
Do you see it?
I saw some pictures, and the sunsets here in Milan are very impressive, it has to be said. Was the sunset as beautiful as Milan's performance, would you say?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Good. I'm looking forward to seeing those pictures. And also back on the pitch, another really good performance by Yassine Adli, who's really, we spoke about him last week, Leisha, and he's doing really well, continuing to make an impact. Another goal for Noah Okafor, one of the new signings brought in just to relieve some of the pressure, I would say, on Olivier Giroud's shoulders. So the new signings and those who are playing as if they are a new signing, who have been given a chance, Yassine Adli, certainly making an impact. So it was beautiful football, beautiful sunsets. What more can you ask for?
Perfect sunsets. And the impact by the new signings we've discussed, but you see, as they continue to settle in, make themselves, their presence felt, Leao goes to another level. The other players go to another level with less pressure on them. And we've seen multiple, when we talk about Rafael Leao, we've seen multiple player of the match performances, both in the Champions League and in Serie A. And more of this means more quality, more positive results, and hopefully going the distance in some of these competitions this season.
Now AC Milan is ready for the next game away at Genoa against the Grifone. What should we expect from this match?
Well, it's a tough match. Genoa, historical club. Don't forget, the oldest club in Italian football.
Good trivia.
Good trivia. Not the players from back then don't play anymore, but they were, one of the oldest clubs, along with Milan and Juventus. So it's not an easy place to go. It's quite a compact, you could say, Adriano, a British-style stadium.
It is.
So the fans certainly make their presence felt. The Milan players might be a bit fatigued from travelling, from putting in a really decent effort against Borussia Dortmund. So it will be tough. You can't go there with your mind on other matches, or you can't go there expecting a walk in the Genovese Park, let's say.
Of course, it's a tough place to play. It is a fantastic stadium, but of course this is the final match in Serie A before the pause for the international break. So no looking back. I think it's a very important 90 minutes. Of course, you saw the standings earlier. Milan at the top of the table looking very nice, and I'm sure wanting to take an important 3 points into the break. But Genoa at home this season, some interesting form because they've taken on a couple of the heavyweights. Napoli were one, and Roma were one recently, and defeated Roma very convincingly, scoring 4 goals. It was a 2-2 against Napoli as well. So they've had some really good form at home, and it is that atmosphere there that can make it very difficult. Off the back of the trip to Dortmund, another difficult trip, but certainly confident we've seen enough from Pioli's men that we'll see a very good, strong performance as we go into the international break.
In the next match against Genoa, there will be also another character that we from our AC Milan know very well, Gilardino.
Of course.
Who is a former rossonero football player, and we are looking at one of his action in that time.
He was a fabulous player. Back then, there's Mr. Ancelotti, bless him. Back then, Milan as well had some incredible strikers in that season. If you look at the Serie A squad, not the Champions League squad, they had Gilardino, they had Pippo Inzaghi, they had Oliveira, and they had the Brazilian Ronaldo. So there was a lot of competition for Gilardino, so perhaps he didn't make as many starts as he would like to have, but when he did, like in that semi-final against Manchester United, he made an impact. So he's got a special place in the heart of Milan fans, Alberto Gilardino.
Absolutely special player, of course. Made his mark at this club. Of course, a World Cup winner with Italy in 2006 as well. I'm sure a reunion he's very much looking forward to this weekend.
It will be an interesting match, but now that's all for Stefano Pioli's side. Let's move on to our women. An important match and important great result against Napoli. Let's start with you, Sheridan.
Well, what can I say? I was speaking to Adriano before we were filming that this match, this victory against Napoli, it won't be a match that I think will live in the memory for a long time. Both sides seemed a bit tired, perhaps affected by the international break, and it wasn't a flowing match. However, Mr. Gantz's side found a way to win. It was a goal last minute of additional time, so it was basically the last kick of the match. But it was important to get 3 points after the opening day defeat against Roma. A difficult match, a really hard match, and when you can win matches like this, you have to be grateful. This is the moment, 96th minute, heading for a 0-0 draw. Bit of a mix-up in the area. It drops to Laurent here, and then she fires it into the roof of the net. A really good finish, and you can see what it meant. Everyone on the pitch, chaos on the pitch. Emmeline Laurent there with the winning goal right at the end.
First goal for the club, of course, since making the switch. These may not have been a pretty 90
It wasn't
minutes,
a
Sharon,
classic,
but these are the results that you need to ensure a top finish in any competition, so
Good
valuable
for
3
belief.
points.
Good for
Absolutely, and of
self-belief
course
as well.
the first win of the season in the league here off after the opening day defeat to Roma.
Great touch.
Super important result, and hopefully they take that into this weekend. Of course, a tough opponent to come, but 3
Beautiful
points here.
finish, Adriano.
Wonderful finish.
You know,
Could
really,
watch that on
really-
replay many times. Wonderful finish, and should be thrilled. First goal in a Milan shirt in Serie A. And now, as I said, take that into the weekend because Juventus to come, and they're hungry on their own path as well.
Now we sit in 5th place, just below Fiorentina and Inter, and the next big match will be against Juventus, which is living a particular good period at the beginning of this new season.
Good period, but I think there's a chance here. Milan's recent record against Juventus is very strong. Very, very strong. So there's been perhaps what were surprise results, but we know the level across the board is continually rising in the women's game, and Mr. Guns has done a great job. Obviously, there's a bit of turnover in the off season, but this is a team that I think will come in after some positive performances against Juventus last season. We'll see some holes in this Juventus team. They haven't been a team that have been as strong defensively as they have been in recent seasons. So, look, I think a Saturday evening match here, I think there's a big opportunity to come away with a positive result.
Yeah, it will be difficult. I mean, Juventus were the preeminent force in Italian women's football until Roma won the league last year. They're coached by the second most famous Australian in Italy, Joe Montemurro. We know who the most famous is. He's sitting quite close to us, Licia. But as we always say, whenever Milan meet Juventus, whether it's the Primavera, the first team, the women, it's always a special fixture.
Yeah.
And Mr. Gantz will be already arranging and deciding what kind of strategy to use to try and get one over Joe Montemurro's Bianconere.
So good luck to our women for the next match against Juventus. Now let's change the subject. We are moving on with our under-19s. Abate's Rossoneri are becoming stars.
Yeah, absolute stars.
After the incredible result against Newcastle, also a great result against Borussia Dortmund under-19s.
This young group is doing wonderful things. It's a joy to watch them. The victory against Borussia Dortmund in the UEFA Youth League, 2-1 as it says, but Dortmund's goal was very late, so it flatters the German side slightly. They played so well, Milan, and the goals were just scored within 6 minutes of each other halfway through the first half, and Dortmund were shocked, and they had no response. And as you can see there, how wonderful is that, Adriano? 6 points out of the 6 possible.
And of course, Dortmund did, obviously, you can see the 3 points for Dortmund. They won at PSG on the opening day. So it puts Abate's boys here in a wonderful position, given where they're currently at, and obviously performing well domestically. But this is a remarkable performance.
Have a look. Sorry to interrupt, Adriano, but this goal was reminiscent of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. It was Diego Sia, and the angle wasn't the best to look at, but there's a kind of scorpion martial arts kick. Now,
very good.
Again, there you don't see too clearly, but trust me,
That's some brilliant technique.
It was an Ibrahimovic style goal by Diego Sia. This is the second goal, scored by the captain, one of my favourites, Kevin Zeroli, driven into the bottom far corner, and that was 6 minutes after the first goal. It was 2-0 after 22 minutes. I chat with the cameraman. Did you catch that goal? I want to show the photos to my mum, because look at this. No one was marking him. Still a lot to do, and drove it into the tightest of spaces to make it 2-0, and it was just a really good result. Dortmund are a fine youth team. They're a fine under-19 outfit. So it's just incredible. Shame for conceding that goal right at the end. It would have been 6 goals scored in the UEFA Youth League, none conceded. But even so, we don't want to quibble. Really good performance, and Mr. Abate's side have started this season in a devastating form.
A little focus about the importance of the step taken by 2 of the youngest Rossoneri talents, Davide Bartesaghi and Filippo Scotti, who signed their first professional contracts on Monday.
There you go, great for them, fully deserved. Davide Bartesaghi has actually been with the first team squad due to injuries, so it's been a real progression for him. And Filippo Scotti, the flying winger, is just one of many of the attackers who are just performing so well.
And many more to come. When they're playing at this level against these opponents in the Champions League, the Youth League, of course, it provides such great opportunity. And they look like a team that are hungry, that are motivated. And certainly for Abate, off the back of his experience with this group, obviously some change, but with the core of this group last season and what they were able to achieve, they just look at a team who are destined to achieve big things this season. We can't wait to follow them.
Not only Youth League, but also obviously Primavera Uno with Abate's side who collected their first draw of this new season. The objective is to stay at the top of the table, and the next match will be against Atalanta.
Yes, the match against Fiorentina, it was frustrating. A draw, rather, I think, flattering for the Viola. It was a prestigious match, though, because it was the opening of Fiorentina's new training complex. So there were 1 or 2 VIP guests, including the Fiorentina president, Rocco Commisso. Yeah, the match a bit frustrating, but didn't lose. Still unbeaten in all competitions. Coppa Italia, UEFA
Still
Youth
at the
League,
top.
Still top of the table. I'm sure we'll see the images of the match against Fiorentina quite soon. But yeah, it was a minor step back, but that's only compared to the brilliance so far this season. Milan in the white away kit, and that is a really good goal by Victor. No one closed him down. They invited him to have a shot. He accepted the invitation, Adriano, and brilliant goal from Victor.
Some invitation, but that's a fine finish.
This is the penalty, which was the equaliser. The incident which led to the penalty was, let's say, controversial. Some people felt it wasn't a penalty, but the referee, he felt it was a penalty, so that's all that matters. So it was a 1-1 draw. Disappointing result, but they played well and perhaps had half a mind on their European business. But still, the start that Mr. Barte's boys have made to this campaign is absolutely thrilling.
That's all for today. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Adriano Del Monte. Thanks, Sheridan Bird.
Thank you,
See you in
Lucia.
the next week.
Looking forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you, Sheridan.
Looking forward to it. It's Adriano's favourite part of the week, so he's already looking forward
Always.
to it.
Dear Rossoneri, thanks for following us. See you in the next episode of our AC Milan Talk. Ciao!